Okay, so I read Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge a couple of months ago. Absolutely loved it. Wanted to review it. Didn't end up doing that. So a couple of months later, here I am doing a spoiler-free review. The way my reviews work is that I give you the premise and then I give you in concise dot points the strengths and weaknesses of this book. I did also do a written review of this. If you much prefer reading book reviews, I will leave the link to that down in the description bar below. But let's just start off with the premise. Essentially, this is a beautifully written, slightly more tragic retelling of the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale. It follows our main character Nyx as she grew up knowing exactly what her fate is going to be. Her father, when she was very young, made a deal with the demon lord, king, prince person thing that she was going to go off and marry him, and in return their village was going to be safe. Knowing this from a very young age, her father has been training her to be an assassin so that she could assassinate this demon lord on the day of her wedding. Starting off with the strengths, I would say the writing style definitely jumps off the page. Rosamund Hodge is very good at crafting her sentences precisely. There's this certain feel to her books, and I've read more than one of her books, and I can definitely say that I really love her writing style. Although this is a fairy tale retelling and it does take certain elements from the original fairy tale, I would say that she definitely did a great job in crafting this to make it her own fable. It almost has this old school fairy tale folklore feel to it that makes it seem like it's its own new fairy tale. The second thing that I would say is a strong point for this book is that Cruel Beauty is definitely a character driven story more than it's an action adventure type story. It's the story of Nyx's internal conflict whether or not to honor her father's wishes or to follow her heart and do what she wants. On top of all of that, there is a lot of family dynamic conflict type stuff. There's a lot of resentment that she has towards the people around her, and it's mostly about her figuring things out in her head and seeing the sacrifices that she has to make or the sacrifices that she has to let go, if that makes sense. I would say that if you're looking for a loosely based fairy tale retelling with a lot of character development and romance, this is definitely one to pick up. Moving on to weaknesses, just like with We Are the Ants, I'm going to nitpick a little bit here because I see no faults with this book, but I know that a lot of my reading tastes are not the same as other people's, and a lot of the reviews I've seen about this book say that the very thing that I said was a strength is a weakness, and that is that it's very character driven and that it has pretty much no world building and not a lot of plot. That might be a weakness to some people, so I think I'm going to talk about it. This is one of those books where you jump into it from the first page and you just have to let the author lead you through the story. It doesn't do a lot of explanation of world building, and as the story goes on, it really doesn't. It's very fuzzy. You just know certain little like landscapey bits here and there, but ultimately it's not very vivid in that sense. So that might be a weakness to some people, so I thought I'd just point that out. But anyway, with all that being said, I gave this book a 10 out of 10 apple towers. Let me know if you read this book so we can discuss it down in the comments below. If you want to pick this book up and I persuaded you in some way, let me know that too. I hope you're having a great day and I will see you soon.